Hi and welcome to PolyOriginals with Fiona Abel-Smith. So today I thought we'd have a bit of fun and create a pleated cane. Now I've done this as petals because those are the colours I choose and it seemed a good idea. And I did this for the first time a few weeks back now at the British retreat where I premiered this one and everyone really seemed to enjoy it and seemed to think it was a good idea. So I've done it for everyone else now as a YouTube as well. It is an incredibly simple technique. One of those, having done it, I was thinking, why did I never do this before? And as far as I know, this is a new technique, but obviously if someone else has done it before and published it, then just let me know. But this is my way of doing it. And I tried to make it as easy as I could just by doing one single blend and then creating this look. There's virtually no tools you need for this one, so I put all the details of what you do need down below in the details. The one thing is I do use a pasta machine to create the blend. However, if you don't have a pasta machine, simply stack layers of playing cards either side of your clay, roll over the top of it, and that will give you the same effect. And I'll put the thicknesses of what I do my clay settings on again in the details below the video for you so you can follow through even if you don't have a pasta machine. So we'll start with the clay and then move straight into the technique for this one. Today I'm using Fimo Soft, but all well-known and recognised brands of polymer clay will work equally well for this technique because it is such a simple one in particular. So I've gone for white, lilac, plum and mint, and all of these are ½ an ounce or 14 grams. And the first thing I'm going to do is in each of these individual colours I will condition the clay. I'm going to condition mine using a pasta machine, but you can condition it by hand if you'd rather. And on my pasta machine I will condition it and put it through on setting 3, which for me is a medium setting, and on my pasta machine 0 is thick and 9 is thin. If you have never conditioned polymer clay before or want to know a bit more or a few tips and techniques about how to do it, particularly if your clay is old and crumbly, then I will put a link to a video I have on how to condition polymer clay in the details below this one. So I will get the clay conditioned and bring you back. Here are the clays already conditioned, and this technique works best with a nice clear contrast either in colour or tone from one end to the other, so between your mix of colours. And this one I've separated with the purple and the mint colour here with a white, so I get a nice amount of separation and don't blur these two colours together, which would go a little bit grey if those two mixed. The only technical thing in this cane is we're going to make a skinner blend between these 4 colours. If you're unsure about skinner blends or would like a few more tips and techniques, I do have a video on this and I'll put a link to that in the details below this one for you. I'm doing a 4-way skinner blend, so nice and easy. I'm going to cut down diagonally through the 2 end pieces, straight down the middle ones and double them up. And then put them together with that nice diagonal going down through all of our pieces. And I'm putting them in such a way that when I fold bottom to top, I'm not going to get an overlap of that green and that lilac. Because I've got extra layers, I'm just going to roll down just so they actually, just to get them to stay together slightly more, then fold in half. Pinch across the fold to make it easier for the pasta machine, and these have all been conditioned on setting number 3. Because I have 4 layers, I'm going to put this through on setting number 2, and I'm going to constantly put it through the pasta machine, fold, and then fold first again through and repeat probably between 12 and 20 times to get a nice blend from this end to this end. And once we've got that done, that's most of the hard work done for us. So I'll keep putting that through the pasta machine and bring you back when I've got that nice blend. If you don't have a pasta machine, you can simply lay this on your tiles, stack the playing cards either side for the correct thickness, and as said, I'll put the details of what that would be below the video for you, and you simply roll between the cards, fold and roll, and you'll end up with the same nice blend from one side through to the other. Once you've got your blend nice and smooth, we want to make it long enough to cut 3 nice chunky pieces. So I'm going to put this back through the pasta machine, or you could roll it by hand in that direction to make it longer. So on my machine I'll put it through setting number 4 to start with and see how much that gives us. And 4 is fantastic, nice big sheet of clay. So I'm going to neaten off the ends just slightly. We'll put those pieces to one side, they'll come in useful for something no doubt. And then cut it in roughly 3 chunks. Something along those lines. I'm going to spread them out just a fraction just so you can see what I'm doing. And then all we're going to do is we are going to pleat all 3 of these. You don't need to do them the same. In fact, if you do them slightly differently, that will have a better effect, because you're trying to get like a variation of look when we finish our cane. So what I'm going to do, with that side slightly pressed down, I'm going to lift up and simply fold backwards and forwards, pleating as I go, sort of 3 or 4 times to create the pleat. Repeat on this side. And again with the last piece. And when you've got them, they'll look something like that. And we will simply put them together. Again, I'm not being neat, so I'm not putting them in the same place. So I'm actually putting them so they go slightly down. So you can see there, we've got a mixture of all our pieces. And then I'm just going to press them together just slightly. I'm going to press them down to start with on the table like that, because you've got most of the clay in the middle, so that automatically will give us a slight triangular shape. Pressing it in, I'm just trying to get rid of any air in between all of those slices, so that when we pick it up we can see they're all together. And what I'm going to do at this stage, I am going to cut off about just under a quarter of a piece, because that is going to be the middle part, so we don't even have to do anything different from the middle. So put that to one side, and this bit we're going to cut in half. And when you put it together, you have that lovely pattern on the inside. So we could either do this again, which I will do just to show you the slightly more detailed pattern, or you could literally leave it like that and have it as your cane, or you could leave those 2 with the halves and add this bit the other way up in between, whichever way you want to do it. But I'm just going to show you putting the 2 together. So I put those 2 together. Again, it doesn't have to be even, so I've just moved it slightly down there, and then I'm going to put it back down on the tile, and again force it into that slightly triangular shape. So now we can pull that longer, gently moving down each of the sides till it's long enough to cut into 2 pieces. And then we'll chop down the middle of those 2. So again, put it together, and that's the pattern you're going to get, depending which way up you want it. But at this stage, I'm just going to add in this extra line. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to push down on the ends to box. I want this to be more of an oblong insert. And I want this to be about the same length as this, because we're going to add this insert twice. So I'm just pressing down, pulling it longer. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a piece that's shorter than the width from here to here, because I want this piece to sit inside but not come up to this end and not come up to this end, because that means you can then have a choice about which way up you put your final piece, which will make sense when we get to that. And I'm just going to roll across here, as I say, making it longer, pull it longer, and when I press down to flatten off the ends so I don't get too much wastage. And I want it to be long enough that it will fit between our slices, and it's going to go that way up, so that's probably about right. So I'm going to chop that the right size, and then I'm just going to point all down this length, so that when we sit that inside, it goes slightly longer. I want to be able to clearly see the dark clay against this side and the light clay against this side. Put the other piece on, put the 2 pieces together, and again, if you want to, you can absolutely leave that at this stage. But what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to do this one more time by pressing it down flat, because by doing that, this piece, this middle piece, will actually start to curl over. So you'll get a lovely look to the outside pieces. So decide which way you're going to put it down flat on the surface, give it a roll, and with your fingers just press that side flat, These bits extend, that's completely normal, do not worry about that. That is supposed to happen. We can neaten that off later, but you can see there I've now made that more into a triangle. So we can roll that flat, and then we can pull out the middle and the top just to make it slightly more even with those ends. And when you've got it long enough, chop down the middle. And you'll see there how the inner bit has actually curved around. And now we should have a piece that's the right height more or less and long enough to fit in that final piece. Chop off the excess. Put the two pieces back together, and that is our pleated cane finished. And what you want to do with it now is completely up to you. I'm going to make this into a petal just to show you how to make a quick flower. So rather than being a diamond shape, I'm just pushing in those corners just to round them off slightly more, make it more of a square shape. So can you see there how it's become more of a square shape? And once it is a square shape, I can start reducing it down in that shape, making it longer and smaller. So just nice repetitive pressing in as you go down the side. Once you've got a size that you think is a good size to work with, chop a bit off, because I always tend to keep it to one side. You can see the petal there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten off the sides. So that's a point and that's a point, but the sides are slightly more round, and then I'm going to reduce in that shape to make it slightly smaller again. And there's a nice size and shape for our petals. As I say, you can either have them so that the purple's to the inside or that mint green's to the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop 10 slices, and I'm going to show you a flower made of 5 petals each with both colour directions going. I've just got a small round cutter, so I'm going to take a couple of rounds from that extra bit we had from our blend, and I'm just going to work on a small sheet so it's easy to manoeuvre and easy to remove the polymer clay from when I've got our piece ready to go. And as you can see here, I have our slices all cut and ready. So the first one, we'll put the purple to the inside, and I'm just overlaying it slightly onto that round so that it has something to stick to. Don't press it down too hard to start with, so you've got room for a little bit of manoeuvrability if you need it. Just space them round nice and evenly, so that's the purple to the middle. And that's the mint to the middle. So 2 different looks depending on which way you put it up, and it's reversible because we didn't put that middle slice right up to the end, so the eye can decide which way it wants it to go up. So I'm just going to add a tiny little bit in the middle of those. For the leftover bit of Skinner, blend again, start with, so a little round of purple in the middle of that one, and a tiny little bit of green in the middle of this one. Small dot in the middle, and they would be ready to be baked. And as this is a piece of Teflon baking sheet, I could actually bake it on that if I wished, and then peel them off afterwards. So as you can see, a nice easy technique which gives you a lovely effect, and I just cannot believe I've never done this before, but the pleated cane, where you just take a single blend, pleat it together, and it gives you a lovely effect for petals or for leaves. So I'll show you a few more examples that I've done. Here are some other colour options for you. This was done with a range of blues, so white, aqua, peppermint and brilliant blue. And on this one I actually put the first line in, having done just the single cut. I didn't press it flat, cut it in half and put it together again. So you can see there's slightly less detail in the middle of this one. This one was a mix of a very pale yellow, then lemon yellow, sunflower yellow, orange into raspberry into plum. and that was done exactly the same as the one I've just shown you. And then this one I very much decided to keep as a leaf, so I didn't add the extra line down the middle, giving the contrast. And for this one it was just white into a mix of a light green, which went into the tropical green, and then I just had like a sage green in my leftover pile of mixed up colours, so I added that in for that. And just to show you how they can look as well, this one I've actually put down into your two flower pieces again, and this time I've just added a tiny little diamante piece in the middle as well. So other options for you. So much you can do with this one. Just have fun with the pleated cane. So that's it, a nice easy technique which hopefully you'll use in loads and loads of different properties within your canes. And don't forget, if you use the pleated cane, if you want to tag me or mention me, that would be very much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you for watching, and as always a special thank you to those of you who subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget, I have loads more videos with lots of different techniques around polymer clay. So hopefully you'll join me next time for some more polymer clay fun. That's it for now. Bye.